Hi, here is Simon speaking of 3dalmanac.com, and today we are looking at new products from March Madness 2017 that were released in week 3, and this is a second episode. So let's get started. The first product we are looking at is Urban Future, made by Stonemason, and as all Stonemason products, this is something probably most of us have waited for. So let's have a look. So as typical with Stonemason products, we only have preloads here, one for Iray, one for 3D Light, no parts, no nothing. But within the preloads there's a lot to see. So first let's have a look. So there are no camera presets included. So let's first create a couple of cameras. And so that we can see this arch, we have to change the focal length. 36 is a good amount. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, that looks a lot of nicer. So let's go into the Iray preview mode. So I already created a couple of more cameras to have a look at the scene, and here it renders pretty impressive. So let's move around a bit. So you can see inside the windows, so there is at least some mock-up. And here you can already see a bit of the more detailed building that we see down the road here, but we look at them in detail in a second. So let's have a top view. So here you see where our current camera is located and how the overall scene is set up. So let's have a look at the end of this part of the scene and see how it looks there. You see we're on the other side of the arch. Let's turn around a bit. So it's a bit dark here, but probably still a good scene for some things that should happen in darker alleys. You can probably build something here at the gaps in the town. So let's go more in the middle of the action now. Here we look back at the arch. You actually see the previous cameras we had in the background. And let's move a bit. Again, you can see, you can look into the buildings a bit at least. Impressive graffiti on top of the windows. Here you see the video wall down the street. And one of the more impressive buildings. One of the side streets. We're looking there in more detail in a second. And here this nice mural on the wall. So now we move on one of the bigger places in the scene. Still this dark feeling is still there. Lots of ambient lights. So and it's for this lot of ambient light that we have here, it's rendering quite smoothly. One of the top things Stonemason does create very complicated scenes that render in a reasonable time frame. So, and here we're back at this building with the yellow lighted marquee. You see the bar and the arc. Better impression how the buildings look like above street level. Lots of stairs, so a lot of places you can probably place a scene. Pretty impressive fog or smoke effects. So let's have a look at the side street that we already looked into a couple of minutes ago. It's darker here again, dark side alley, good place for not so nice things to happen. Again, we are here at the end of the scene, so you probably have to, if you want to really shoot here, you have to put something into the background, either an HDRI or some background items that you can place there, but probably still pretty usable. So, and that's it. Let's go back to the midst of the scene. So overall, like you could expect from Stonemason's products, if you know them, very complex scene, very impressive rendering in a reasonable time, very monolithic, so you have no chance to do any changes, copy some buildings, all just one big preload. This is not so nice, but if you look what you really get, I think this is still really a must buy if you have any use for a scene like that. So let's have a last look before we go to the next product. And the next product is a crit suit created by Out of Touch. So a little bit of skimpware as you see here, but well made skimpware. So let's have a look. So I loaded Sparkle, that was also released this week in the Mika 7 Pro bundle. and let's get her dressed. So this is the basic shape. So put some materials on there. You can see there are different basic material options. Latex and leather and cotton and even some reptile thing. So let's have a look here and go into the render mode. So here it renders. See the shiny material, and the leather shiny is a little bit less shiny, but still shiny. Different leather tone. Here the matte one. So subtle differences, but probably if you want to achieve a specific look, it might be useful. So this is a glossy leather version. And this is a latex version. And last but not least, the cotton version, so more textile, less fetish. So let's try out what all these very unsorted materials are doing. Here you can change the color of the crossings of the crits. Some material sewn beneath the breasts. Not really sure what to use. Unfortunately, really very unsorted, not included very good descriptions. Oh yes, now we found the main material zones materials. So let's find some combination we want to use. Maybe something pink and black. So where you found some pink or rosé for the cups and the main part of the panties. Some darker pink for the main crits. Now better take some black. Looks better. That is probably a good combination. Yes, also put black in the places where the crits meet. And then let's have a look at the shapings. So you see we have quite a few of adjustment poses. And a lot of effect poses like we are used to by Out of Touch products, and most of them are undressing related, so we have to try them out. There are quite a few of show pressed presets that we can use. Let's try out a couple of them. Next one renders again. So this is more sliding off the shoulder ones, probably more useful, like the more drastic ones. So this is probably stage 2 of the previous one. Also quite realistically, so probably pretty usable. So, and there are more options that we are show right now. And another one. So now let's try one of the panty aside, one in the crotch. Not very visible in this view, so nothing we have to look at in detail. So this is a more complete undress pose, so want to undress a complete upper body. And the other one is a little bit less complete. So these two are probably good to use together. So for the second, then the first one. And we have here also two on the floor options. Number 1 and number 2. So this is one for pulling at the panties. There are more of those for the other direction. And that's for the basic set, but there is also a texture set. So let's have a look at it next. The Gridsuit influential textures make the set really a little bit more useful in more non-skimpware situations. Some of them are still pretty skimpy, but some of them are also pretty usable for other possibilities. So let's have a quick walkthrough through these 8 textures that are included in this product. So a black and white one, still more on the skimpware side. A red one, so this could also be a pretty stylish swimsuit, so probably more usable than the basic version. So this goes a little bit in a showgirl or science fiction option or direction. A blue one, also pretty swimsuit like, or turquoise. This can also be a pretty stylish swimsuit. And the next one is showgirls from head to toe. The next one has some S&M kind of vibe to it. And last but not least, the red one is somewhere between lingerie and swimsuit again. So overall it's a pretty versatile set. So if you're in the market for this kind of clothing, it's a nice thing to have. A lot of shapes. The materials in the main set could be assorted a little bit better, but overall a nice thing. Last but not least, we have a look at the Street of Asia 2 by Night set of Dreamlight. This is an lights set for the Streets of Asia 2, an older or pretty old set, but still very nice set of stonemason. So you need the original set to use this light set. So let's see what's included in the package. So it's a preload, it's a light set, and it's a render setting preset. So let's load the preload. Again, no camera presets included, so let's create some. Again, we go to focal length of 36, excuse me. Pretty good basic focal length for some wide angle shots. Let's find a nice frame here. And go into the preview mode. So I already created a couple of more cameras. Oh, what, that looks pretty red. That does not look correctly. It doesn't looks like if the render settings were loaded completely, so reload it from the preset. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So you see the HDRI in the background with the stars, and you have a pretty nice evening scene in an old Asian town. So let's have a look from above. So you see where our current camera is looking at, and now we go to the other side of the river and have a look at the bridge. Lots of nice lights, mesh lights, and for that many mesh lights the render times are really reasonable. So next we go in one of the side streets. Again, one of the trademark arches in the stonemason sets. Again, a nice dark side alley. It's only in your imagination what we could do here. So let's again go to some of the side scenes in this set. Here you really see the quality of stonemason's work, that even the side scenes have nice little views. So, and again a view on the bridge, but this time from the other side. So overall, this Streets of Asia 2 by Night set is a nice addition to a really classic set of stonemason. It adds some terrific lights. It makes this older set look like it's a new one. So if you have the Street of Asia 2 set or are able to pick it up cheaply in one of the many sales, it's a must-have. It really gives this old but very loved set a new life and a modern feeling. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you liked what you've seen, or follow us on one of our social media channels, and please leave comments if you have something that we could make better or want to give us a shout out.